on, everybody? It is Thursday, June 14th, and we got another one of those interesting slates. 4 games in the main slate. The DraftKings early slate goes from 1 o'clock to 3:30. The FanDuel early slate goes from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So we're all over the map today. We're going to start off talking about the main slate in those 4 games, and then we'll circle back and touch on some of the quote-unquote highlights for the morning. Jake, how'd your night go last night?
Night went well. I had a high finish in the mini max tourney, which is a lot of fun if you're getting into MME. And so I've been talking about how I've been getting into it, and it's got its own obstacles, but had my first decent cash last night. So it was good. Actually, the late games got me there. So that was pretty cool to come all the way back with a lineup that I thought was kind of dead. These slates, decent number of games. So 4 games, it's playable for sure. Going to be tough to figure out how to get different, I think, especially on the main slate.
Yeah, I don't like it. At least there's no weather. That would be so much worse if there were like 2 games with horrible rain or something.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody in the chat. It's not helping that I can't even run the crunches correctly. They have Steven Matz in for the Mets instead of Jason Vargas. So while I do have some Jason Vargas exposure, it doesn't show up because they think he's not involved in the crunch. So.
Oh, yeah. So I thought it was Steven Matz last night on the night shift. And I thought someone else was going for Atlanta too. So, just the night shift probably wasn't all that helpful when these pitchers get switched the night of. So
don't tell them that's always helpful. You should listen to that immediately, whether that is through iTunes or on YouTube after I upload it in the morning.
Well, the information still works, especially lefty against the Diamondbacks. So Vargas to Matz doesn't really change much, but I can't remember who I thought it was going to be for Atlanta. But we're here to talk these slates, and we will give you the best information we can.
There you go. Let me tweet out those links quick. Boom. There we go. Oh, man. All right, let's dive into this stuff. Let's have some fun. We've got crunches to look at. We've got ownership projections out for early and main slate, so we'll have a lot to talk about. First game up, Rays and Yankees. Rays 3.7 run implied total. Yankees 4.7. It's a 61% chance to win for the Yanks. Blake Snell going for Tampa. Domingo Germán going for New York. It's really crazy to see Blake Snell be the most expensive pitcher on DK by $2,300 and be an under 40% chance to pick up a win. You don't see that all that often. Domingo Germán is the best option of the day, in my opinion. I don't think it's even close. The fact that he's 6,700 is comical. I'm going to have, in a 4-game slate, you don't have much of a choice. I'll still have a ton of Snell. He grades out really well. Highest K projection of the slate for me. We're projecting Snell at only 19%, though, so he's a guy that I'll probably have a lot more than the field of. Germán projected to be the most chalky pitcher of the day. And I get it. That's the price point for it. I like both of these guys. Where do you stand?
Yeah, these are the 2 guys I have in the spotlight pitchers right now. It's just, like, where else are you going to go for pitcher? Anibal Sanchez, chalk, possibly. Like Tyson Ross, Price in an awful matchup, Vargas in a not good matchup. I don't know. So kind of by default, these 2, and I believe in these 2 as well, like long term. So These guys missed the most bats on the slate. So you got Snell, who's 10-9, most talented pitcher on the slate. It's a tough matchup for sure. They're like he could get taken deep once or twice here, but he's kind of fixed the walk issue he had last year, where he would have these disaster outings and disaster innings and just couldn't throw a strike for a while. But he's been super consistent, and the Yankees are striking out over 23% of the time against lefties on the season. And then over the last month, they have the highest swinging strike rate, as well as a top 10 O-swing percentage. So they're chasing. It's a risky play, but if he's going to be that low owned on this slate, which is relatively low owned, then I love Snell. Like, I love him as a pitcher, and I'll play him in tough matchups where he's not going to be the relative chalk.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's really easy to get to him. That's a terrible price. It's so bad.
It is.
I barely have him projected ahead of David Price, and again, that's $2,300 less.
Yeah, it's a tough price to pay. It's just like I think he's got a really good chance of being a top 2 scoring pitcher, even if he doesn't get the win. Like he's one of 2 guys that I feel confident gets like 18 to 20 points here most of the time. And I can't say that about anyone besides Herman, but he's the obvious chalk. So that's sort of where I'm at. Snell just got such good stuff that he can do well in these tough matchups, and he has.
So I've got 2 guys projected at 18 or higher, and neither of them are named Blake Snell.
So Price and Herman?
No.
Sanchez?
Yeah.
Oh God. I get it. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Just like chalk Anibal Sanchez. Do we seriously want to go down that path? Chalk Anibal Sanchez?
I mean, I'm gonna go down that path. Man, when I take a stand on Braves, I really go in like a really awkward direction. Normally never like the Braves, but here I am being like, yeah, I'm gonna put up 40% Anibal Sanchez as the second lowest priced pitcher of the day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I get it. He's at home and blah, blah, blah. Like, we'll talk about him next game, but these 2 guys are the clear first and second best pitchers on this slate as far as DFS goes. Snell, just with the bad matchup, Herman going to be the highest owned pitcher, but he's at home. Like, he could get touched up as well. I don't see any pitcher that's even close to being safe on this slate, so I can't really argue that anyone's a bad play.
I think Matt Cook is a bad play today.
Well, I actually don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a
just
bad
because
play.
of the slate. Okay.
I don't really like Felix either, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I don't like Felix. I think he's my least favorite play.
I would agree. Let's talk Yankees bats. So they are my 3rd highest stack on FanDuel, my 4th highest stack on DK. I don't really know how to reconcile this. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say. Since we're projecting Snell so low, I don't know where to land more on the Yankees. Like, if we were projecting Snell higher, I think I would like the Yankees more, as weird as that sounds.
No, that makes perfect sense. Because then you would be leveraging off a chalky, high-priced pitcher with good bats. So now, also why I like Snell, and I have this in the article, and I'll post this in a second, but it's just that if Snell's going to be low owned, and I didn't think he would be this low owned on a 4-game slate, and things can change throughout the day, but if the Yankees bats are going to carry decent ownership, he's even better as a leverage pitcher. So I get the Yankees bats here, mostly the big guys, Judge, Stanton, maybe Sanchez, Andujar, but I just think Snell is good enough where I'm not going to like go out of my way to stack against him. So
I'm going to have the first 5 in a lot of lineups. Hicks, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Andujar. I don't get to a ton of Gregorius, but I just can't imagine not getting all of those guys.
I mean, if I make 150, like if you make 150, how many Yankee stacks would you want?
A lot.
Or let's say like 100, like 15?
So
15 Yankee stacks?
I have the Yankees with 15% of my aggregate ownership.
Okay.
On a day like today, 13% is average.
Okay.
So I have the Yankees above average. We're projecting them to be the second most owned team of the day. They're at 19% right now on DraftKings.
Right, and they have the highest total, and that's going to draw people to them. And you've got Hicks possibly leading off. There are a lot of good things to say about the Yankees. The one bad thing is that I just think the pitcher they're going against is really good. So, wind's blowing out. Man, if this was any other lefty, well, not any other, but outside of a few lefties, I would be all over the Yankees. But it's hard for me to do that here.
Yeah, I'll have those first 5. I have no Rays, basically, which I'm not really happy about because of Herman's ownership.
Yeah, I'll definitely have some Rays. That I'm not scared of stacking them. We've seen Herman get blown up, I think, a couple times. He's just been super erratic, very wild at times. I think Jacob Bowers, is probably my favorite play, but I like 2, 3, 4. I don't know how Herman is at holding runners, so I'm interested to see if we can play Malik Smith. Just for the speed, the chance that he gets on base, but he's got good speed. It's not like Herman has had any starts where he's gone like clean besides that one against the Indians in his first start. He's given up 6, 3, 4, 3 earned runs. So he's giving up runs. It's not like he can't get blown up here, especially with that weather.
You got anything else you want to touch on here? Because I'm not going to end up on the Rays.
Man, I don't know how you don't have some Rays. Like 50% ownership for a pitcher on a 4-game slate. That's crazy.
I don't think. Oh man, I don't know. It's just I'll have a hard time getting there. They look really bad to me.
Just seems so unlike you.
What?
Not having some exposure to the other side on a 4-game slate.
I think it's kind of they just look really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't help that in my opinion, their two best options are first baseman separated by $100.
Yeah, Cron and Bowers?
Yeah.
Wait, they're separated by 100?
Yeah.
Oh, I was on FanDuel pricing there.
Bowers is 3,900, Cron is 4,000. So like it's hard to get there on DK because then I'm already taking, I don't know, some other asshole at the end of their line, and that's not very good.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We can move on. I mean, we've talked about this one enough, I think.
Yeah, probably. Alrighty. Padres and Braves. Here we go. Padres 4-run implied total. Braves 4.5. It's a 55% chance to win for the Braves. Tyson Ross going for San Diego. Anibal Sanchez going for the Braves. Anibal Sanchez, as of right now, third most chalky pitcher of the slate. We're projecting 42%. I've got 40 right now. He's a guy I'm going to end up with a ton of. I don't have too much Ross, just 16%. That's right in line with the field. So I don't say this often, but I like the Braves quite a bit here.
Yeah. So both of these pitchers are very bad at holding runners. So like right off the bat, I like the speed. I like Albies. Freeman has some speed, I know, but I don't know if he's been stealing bases this year. And then, so anyone who's got speed is pretty interesting to me in this game, especially if these two guys are going to carry ownership, specifically Anibal Sanchez. I mean, I get the Sanchez play for sure. He's 5,500. And at home, he's a favorite going up against a team that strikes out a ton. And he can miss bats at times. We've seen this year and in years past. So I have no problem with the Sanchez play outside of the ownership. I don't know if I want to put my eggs in the Sanchez basket tonight when I mean, I don't think he's any sort of lock here. I don't know. I don't have a great reason to fade him outside of the ownership.
I'm terrified that I have him as the second highest projected pitcher. And, like, if that line moves even just slightly towards the Braves, he could catch Domingo Germán.
Yeah. He looks fine for me too, like on my model and stuff, but he just I don't know. And it's mostly because of the Padres matchup that's weighting that towards him, but I can't say he's not a good play.
Yeah, look, I'm going to have a ton of them. Yeah. And apparently I'm going to have even less of him than the field, so... man, these 4-game slates, you end up having just garbage. Absolute garbage. So Braves hitters. Albies, Swanson, and Freeman are coming up a ton for me. I've got the Braves as my 5th most owned stack on DraftKings. I think they're the same. No, they're 4th on FanDuel. We're only projecting 11% ownership for them on DK, so I'm actually ahead of the field. I guess that's probably because I have no Rays and no Mariners.
Okay.
But I don't love the Braves all that much. I think probably because I have some respect for Tyson Ross. But those first 3 guys, just their price points and their positions, they make it really easy to get to. To be able to get a first baseman, a second baseman, and a shortstop, that's pretty decent on a 4-game slate at the top of the order.
Yeah, I like the Braves a lot. And if Ender Inciarte leads off, he's going to be on a ton of my lineups. And even if he doesn't lead off, like even if he's batting 7th or whatever, if he gets on, he's stealing against Ross, or at least he's trying to. So he's got doesn't he have over 20 stolen bases on the year? It seems like
You're asking the wrong person.
He's got 20. Yeah, he's got 20 stolen bases, it looks like. And that's only going back to the start of April, so maybe you got a couple more before that. But yeah, I like all the speed in this game. Love me some Braves against Tyson Ross, even though I think Ross has improved a little bit. That K percentage against righties is really crazy, 28%. So I even get trying to go to Ross here. I don't think that's the worst play in the world at low ownership, but I'm probably going to have a lot of Braves bats, specifically Freeman, Markakis, Albies, and Inciarte. And then you've got to... Do you have any Padres, did you say?
I do. They're 5th on FanDuel, 6th on DK, so they're not just like a 0 for me. This is a weird game in that I'm going to have kind of all of it in different combinations, because I don't think there's anything clear, I guess, outside of Anibal Sanchez. I get a lot of Hosmer.
Okay.
They're more prevalent on FanDuel. It'll be some combination of the first 6. So Jankowski, Hosmer, Perella, Renfroe, Spangenberg, and then Galvis.
Okay.
Same scenario on DK, just less volume.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be all over the speed in this game. So, like I've said a bunch of times. So Jankowski, Hosmer's stolen a couple bases this year. Spangenberg, same with him. Galvis has a few. Margot has 6. So anyone that can steal in this game, I'm pretty much they're going to be in my player pool. San Diego, against right-handed pitchers this year, has stolen the 5th most bases. So that's 32, up there with Milwaukee. So they definitely have speed, and they're willing to steal. So that's how I'm going to get my exposure to these San Diego bats. I'm going to be well over the field on probably all these guys.
You're going to be over the field on the Padres, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I shouldn't say that like that's weird, because I am.
Anibal Sanchez chalk, man.
We're projecting the Padres to be the lowest owned team.
Oh, that is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's 86 degrees. It's not like it's 60 degrees here. And, like, it's not good pitching conditions. I don't know.
Man, I don't like this game. Like, for every piece that I like, I somehow like the opposite side of it. I don't like. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a ton of Anibal Sanchez, but I'm also gonna have a ton of the Padres, and then I'm gonna have a ton of the top 3 of the Braves, and then I'm gonna have some Tyson Ross, and it's like, well, fuck it. Just, I hope I get it right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense to have exposure to both sides. So going back to last year, Sanchez, he's just not impressive against either hand. XFIP over 4.28 against both hands. Over 33% hard contact to both. I mean, I'm not seeing a chalk pitcher here, even though it is a good matchup.
Let's go on to another one, because I don't know what to make of the Braves today. I'm going to cheer for them. I hope they beat the Padres. That's the best that I can do. I don't even know how to talk about this one, because I don't even know if I'm going to get a bunch of Vargas. I guess I am. Mets and Diamondbacks. Mets 4.3 run implied total. Diamondbacks 4.4. It's a 51% chance to win for the Diamondbacks. Jason Vargas going for the Mets. Matt Cook going for the Diamondbacks. I'm very comfortable in saying that I won't end up with any sort of volume of Cook. We're projecting only 5% ownership. That is where I will be, or lower. Jason Vargas is not currently a part of the player pool on Fantasy Cruncher. They have Steven Matz in. So when I ran my crunches, I get 0 Vargas. I would expect to get some Vargas. 14.6 projected total for me, for him. For him, yeah. So he'll come up a little bit. I don't find him to be terribly interesting. I think he's more interesting than Cook. But I don't know. This game's hitting for me. Mets are my number 1 stack on both sides. So
yeah, I definitely prefer the hitting in this game. There's no doubt about that. I will say, like, I couldn't make the case for Matt Cook, and there's nothing exciting about him. He does not grade out as anything special, but he's at home. He's a favorite, and he's going up against the Mets, who I don't think we think are any sort of powerhouse offense. He's going to be low owned, and if he's just okay and the rest of the guys in this range aren't, then you're going to have a huge advantage. I don't have faith in any of these guys, so I just want the low owned ones, because I think if you're paying down and it's all going to be garbage, then you might as well have low owned garbage and hope yours is a little bit better than everyone else's. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this slate. I'll have some Matt Cook probably, and I cannot believe I even am considering playing this guy, but I don't think he's a crazy play.
yeah, I think he's a crazy play. 5.5 projected K per 9. I've got him in for 4.3 Ks just today. Over a 5 FIP. I'm smashing the Mets. 1 to 6 in particular, just in bulk. I'm way above the field on them. We have them as the 3rd most owned stack on DK, and tied for 1st on FanDuel. But I'm significantly above the field on the Mets, mostly because of their price point. They're just crazy cheap. They make everything work really easy. I can't imagine not going that direction.
No, I get that. That's also why I think Cook is an okay option. If somehow he has an okay starter, he survives for 5 or 6 innings, then you're getting huge leverage off these Mets bats, which are going to be owned, right? We have them being pretty decently owned, and I don't want to play chalk on a 4-game slate that I don't really believe in. So I get the Mets bats. Like, I'll probably have some of them, especially, I mean, if I make 150, I'll probably have stacks of most, if not all, of these 8 teams, but not going to be I might be overweight on a couple players, but not as the stack, or not on the stack as a whole.
Okay. Yeah, I get a lot of Conforto, Frazier, Nimmo, and Cabrera, and then Mesoraco. I think looks like a pretty good catcher option, just because of the slate size and the price.
I like Nimmo a lot for 4,000, and Conforto. So those are going to be two of the higher owned guys on this team and on this slate. But those are the two guys I do think make for pretty good one-offs.
Conforto is only 2,600 on FanDuel today. Just insane.
Yeah. I thought they were talking about sending him down to the minors or something.
Were they?
I'm pretty sure I saw that on Twitter somewhere. Could have been a faulty report. Who knows?
What do you think about Diamondbacks bats? They're actually my second highest stack on FanDuel and number 3 for me on DK. We're not projecting them to be highly owned on DK. They're 5th, I think. They're right at the average amount of ownership. But I'm getting them quite a bit, so I'm a little heavier on than the field. A lot of that gets wrapped up in Goldschmidt. Righty-lefty matchup. That's about as good as it's going to get for him.
Yeah, so Goldschmidt, the obvious guy. But I like John Ryan Murphy, I think, almost as much as Goldschmidt. John Ryan Murphy, probably my favorite catcher on the day. If he's batting cleanup. Kettle Marte has hit lefties actually really hard this year, which I was surprised to see. And I don't think he'll be highly owned for 3,800. And then Nick Ahmed batting second. If he's there, 3,600, I like him as well. So I can get to a Diamondback stack really easily. And I would even go down to Owings, maybe John Jay leading off. Vargas, I don't have Vargas as being a good pitcher, so I'll be all over that Diamondback stack.
Yeah, this is all hitting for me, and I'm cool with that. Everybody's just relatively cheap outside of Goldschmidt, but Goldschmidt has a much different ceiling than everybody else here. So I'm going to have a ton of this game from a hitting perspective. I really hope that the old Vargas-Cook pitching duel doesn't happen, because that'll sink me. I need the bats. If this game goes like 11-9 or something, I'm going to be dancing in the streets.
Isn't this game going to be the one that everyone's going to be on for hitting?
No.
You don't think?
Like I said, Diamondbacks are 13th, so we have Red Sox way ahead of them, Yankees way ahead of them. The Mets are quite ahead of the Diamondbacks were not projecting that much ownership. They're neutral today. Like, the Diamondbacks are neutral for the main slate.
Why don't people want to play the Diamondbacks, or why wouldn't people want to play the Diamondbacks against Vargas?
I have no
The
idea.
Diamondbacks have been really good against lefties.
I'm
all
gonna play
year.
it. We're telling them to do it.
Yeah, I don't get why people wouldn't want to.
I hate John Jay. Well, it's part of the problem is the fact that the Diamondbacks are shitty. Like, Nick Ahmed is bad.
But he's not. He's not bad against lefties.
He's still bad.
Let's see. What's he
He's
at?
just less bad.
He's got a 275 ISO, 40% hard contact, 41% fly ball rate, under 18% K rate, and that was updated a couple days ago for this season.
How many plate appearances does he have against lefties this year?
I don't have that in front of me. I don't know, but he was good last year. I remember playing him against lefties last year. He's fine.
If
but
he's fine, everybody's fine. He's
Arizona,
probably one of the worst hitters in baseball.
Well, I don't know. Arizona over the last month, top 5 WRC plus of 132. Let's see, their ISO is 235, which is pretty nuts. And then 21% K rate. They're walking over 10%. Like, I don't know what's not to like about them. 356 on base percentage. They've been really good after being awful for the first month and a half of the season.
Oh, God. Hey, look, I love the Diamondbacks. I've been pounding them for however many weeks now while they were just getting bludgeoned and I was taking it on the chin. Now Goldschmidt's starting to wake up.
That's the difference. I mean, once the team goes as Goldschmidt goes,
Yeah,
I
they're just
think.
so bad. Like I love Kettle Marte, and he's atrocious. Chris Owings is atrocious. Devin Marrero is shockingly atrocious. Oh man.
Well, I'll have all of them. So
So will I. They're my number 2 stack on FanDuel.
we'll be counting our Diamondbacks dollars later tonight.
I'm a walking contradiction, or I guess I'm a seated contradiction today. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm gonna pound the Mets and Diamondbacks. I'm not gonna have their pitching. I'll have a little bit of Vargas, and
What do you
I
have
won't
for
be
that
happy
line?
with it.
What do you have for that line?
Like the total?
Yeah, what like, and then is it -150 for Arizona?
I've got
Because it
no. It's
it just
basically even.
yeah, it just changed on my sheet. I'm seeing before I saw it basically even, like Arizona was -110. The Mets were even. Now I'm seeing Arizona -150 with a
Yeah.
5-run total.
So I have the -150 on here now
What the hell? What happened?
with a 9 1/4. It must have been from the Mats line.
I mean, maybe. That's that's a pretty weird jump.
Yeah, I mean, so that changes things big time. That means that I will like your boy Cook.
I mean, oh God, he's not my boy. Let's get that out of the way.
I don't know. You were just touching him gently, I think.
I mean, if he can get me 12 DraftKings points, then sure. But the whole point is that I don't believe in Anibal Sanchez or any of these other cheap options in this range. So, like, by default, I guess I'll have some Matt Cook because I'm not going to have 100% Domingo Herman, and I'm not going to Felix against the Red Sox. So, you know.
Good God. Support emails are not fun. Like, sorry I didn't respond in the 2 minutes since you sent that email, person.
Oh,
Jesus.
how dare you?
Insane. All right, I'm gonna talk about this. Yeah. Oh wow, that moves the Diamondbacks to a 5.1 run implied total. That's gonna change their projected ownership quite a bit. I think they're gonna become more chalky now.
They should be.
All right, let's do this last one. And while you talk about the pitching, I'm going to fix this email issue. Red Sox and Mariners. Red Sox 4.4 run implied total. Mariners 3.8. It's a 56% chance to win for the Sox. David Price going for Boston. Felix Hernandez going for Seattle. I like Price. I'll have quite a bit of him. He'll be chalky. We're projecting like 48%, second most owned pitcher of the slate. I totally agree with it. I like the Red Sox quite a bit as a stack as well. It's not looking good for Felix here. What are you thinking about Felix and David Price?
Yeah, Felix, I don't think I'm going to go to him. The Red Sox are just so good against righties. They have been all year. If you search by pretty much any time span on the year, 14 days, 30 days, they've just been good the entire year against righties. And they have power. They don't strike out. They just get on base. And, like, Felix does not have the strikeout stuff to get these guys to, like, create any whiffs or any of that. So it's just really tough for me to even think about playing him. So I don't know. Like, that's why I prefer a guy like Cook, who I think can just be okay. I don't think Felix can be okay here. And then Price, if he's going to be at that ownership, I'm going to be super underweight. The Mariners are another team that I don't like targeting with either hand, and especially Price, who he's not a huge strikeout guy. I mean, he can get strikeouts at times, but I don't see why he would be mega chalk here, or even close to being chalk here. So that was surprising to me with our ownership projections. Gives up some power to righties, and the Mariners have a bunch of good righties in their lineup. Obviously, everybody knows about Nelson Cruz, but Mitch Haniger's been raking against lefties. Healy, same thing, can hit lefties. Zunino can hit lefties, and that's power at the bottom of the lineup. They just have a good, pretty deep lineup. I mean, I don't know about Span or Heredia, but outside of them, I think that's a pretty good Mariners lineup and one that Price is going to have difficulty with.
You think, really? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Haniger, Cruz, Seager is a scary core.
And Healy. Healy's good, man. I don't want to target lefties against Price. Like, that's just something I'm not really looking to do, so I will limit my T. Gordon and Kyle Seager exposure, but I don't even know if Seager's going to be in this lineup because he was scratched yesterday pretty late.
Yeah, I get to know Mariners. That's like the one spot where I'm not going to be. It's all Red Sox for me. Whether it's basically the entire lineup on DK or just like a concentration of Betts, Benintendi, and JD with scattered rest of the stacks. It's just really hard with Betts, Benintendi, and JD being all outfielders. Like, getting 3 outfielders at 6,000, 5,700, and 5,500 on DK is so expensive. Oh my god.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
gonna
do it.
That's gonna be tough to do, I think. But I'm gonna try to do it. Like, you can go Herman. You could probably even go like Snell and Sanchez and get all the Red Sox in, or Snell and Matt Cook or something like that. It's just with Herman, he opens up so much. So I think the Red Sox will have a lot of ownership, and that's why Snell won't have a lot of ownership, because people want to just pay down for Herman, get their SP2 in there, whether it's Price or someone else. It's probably going to be Price, and then pay up for all the big bats, which I get, but I'll probably be riding the other side with a lot of Snell and maybe mix around my SP2 exposure.
I don't even know how to call it SP2 exposure today. I've got Anibal Sanchez as the second best pitcher, and he's like 5,500. He's as close to an SP1 as I can get. Everything's opposite day today in the main slate. Yeah.
I've got Snell as my SP1, but that's not some hot take either. He's the highest priced. But I just think he's really good, man.
Oy vey. Making life work sometimes is difficult. All right, do we want to look at some crunches?
Sure.
Let's see if they've switched out Mats for Vargas yet.
I'm sure FC is on it.
This is the type of stuff that's usually a little bit slower to refresh. But, I mean, that makes sense. These games start at 7 o'clock. I wouldn't give too many shits either at 9 o'clock in the morning. What is the last thing I just did? Okay. Give me 2 pitchers, I guess.
So I don't know how to do this. Try Snell and Price. Just try Snell and Price and see how that works.
Wow, okay. I got 7 of them. So you can do that with a Mets 5-man stack and a Padres 3-man.
Do you have any Diamondbacks Padres in there? That's probably what I would do if I was going Snell Price.
Diamondbacks Mets. I don't have any Diamondbacks Padres. Should I run it to see if we can get it?
You could probably get it. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to check it,
How
but I'm
else
sure
do we
there's a
do
way. Talk about the early.
Yeah, we could. Let's see if we get Diamondbacks and Padres.
All right, let's try it.
So let's do Padres and Diamondbacks. Beat, clone. Do some 5-3s if we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do Price and Snell.
Ooh, doesn't work.
Oh, I didn't pick my projections. There we go.
All right.
I got 2. First one works, I guess. Murphy, Goldschmidt, Perella, Spangenberg, Marte, Renfro, Jay, and Owings. That's fine.
I don't think this. Yeah, it's got the two best parts of the Diamondbacks lineup, or in my opinion, the three best parts: Murphy, Goldschmidt, and Kettle Marte. I'd like to get some more speed in that Padres side. I'd like to get Jankowski in there if we could, but like the idea works. So I'll probably have some lineups that look similar to that. Just because I don't want to play chalk on a 4-game slate. I don't want to play chalk Anibal Sanchez. I don't want to play chalk David Price in what I think is a bad matchup. But at least I'll be under the weight. That's for sure.
Today is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in reverse. Anibal Sanchez, 5,500. Domingo Herman, 6,700. Two best pitching options. Blake Snell, 10-9 for some strange reason. I can't, man. I just can't wrap my head around it.
It's because Blake Snell's the truth, man.
Apparently. All right, we want to look at this early slate.
Yeah.
And people always ask, like, why we're not looking at any FanDuel crunches. There's no real variability when you only pick one pitcher. It's a very different experience when it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna have,
Yeah.
What are my exposures here? Like I have 80% of my exposure in Herman and Anibal Sanchez. So like, a lot of these lines are gonna look super similar, especially at those price points. You can do whatever you want. Okay, let's look at the early slate. You want to look at DK, or do you want to go through each game? I'm up for whatever.
I've got stuff for each game, but we can just talk generally. I think that's kind of worked out. See if people have questions. Are there any lineups out yet?
The Marlins are out.
Oh, but they're not. So they're on FanDuel. They're not on DraftKings.
Yeah, of course. Well, let me run a crunch of the early slate. We'll take a look and see what comes out for it.
Okay.
That'll help, I guess.
Yeah. So the early, I'll just talk kind of generally. I like both options in the Colorado-Philadelphia game again. So I'm going to pull up the ownership and just talk about that as well.
Sure.
Without giving away everything premium.
You're good.
But, so DraftKings, early slate ownership. So we've got Clevenger being very healthily owned, highest owned pitcher of the slate. And I mean, I get it against the White Sox, but he is a lot better against righties, and he's going to get 3 out of 4 lefties to start, and they're good ones, especially Moncada. Palka has some power, and then you get Abreu and Davidson. This is a pretty tough spot, I think, for Clevenger. I don't think it's as good as that ownership suggests. And then Vince Velasquez, just Colorado. It didn't work out yesterday for, who was it yesterday that pitched for the Phillies? Pivetta. So the righties against Colorado on the road didn't work out yesterday, but they've still been really, really bad. And Velasquez has huge strikeout upside. So he's got slate breaking upside here. And he's only 7,100. So I thought he would be the highest priced pitcher. But I also like Marquez on the other side. Marquez has shown some upside, especially outside of Coors Field. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just not playing the chalk today. That's kind of where I'm going. So I like those two guys. I mean, Lance Lynn is fine. Fulmer is fine. And then I can't get to Rodon.
We're projecting pretty decent ownership to Rodon, too.
Well, I think he's good. Or at least he's got the stuff to be good. Not against the Indians. That's just a no thank you for me.
You said you liked Marquez, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 4th most ownership there. He hit my cap of 40% on the crunch, so he looks pretty good.
I like it.
Looks like the hitter stacks is going to be Astros and Rockies as the popular two, and then probably the Indians and then Phillies.
So Astros, yeah, I would assume the Astros, especially after that just eruption last night in like 2 innings.
Lovely.
Seems like, yeah. Did you say Astros Indians?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
Rockies though, quite a bit.
Who do you like? Really, the Rockies against Velasquez? Really? I guess Velasquez. That was like one of his first blow up starts, and he was the guy last year that he either had it and he was striking out 8 or 9 or 10 guys, or he was just going to get blown up. And I hadn't really seen that until last start for the whole season. So I guess he's still prone to that. Any pitcher is. I mean, if you don't have it, you could get blown up on the wrong day. But I still think Velasquez is good. Everything checks out, except I will say, and I forgot about this, but his velocity was down a little bit, so that is kind of concerning. And it was only like a mile to a mile and a half last start, but that is kind of a little bit concerning to me. Phillies lineup's out.
Is it?
Okay, so Caesar, Reese, O'Doul. Yeah, pretty much what we expected. Oh man, so Marquez is getting 7 lefties. Whew.
You gotta give me 2 pitchers for this early slate. We'll take a look at a crunch.
Okay. Let's try. Well, Verlander. Are you on DraftKings?
I am.
Oh yeah, 2 pitchers. Yeah. It's been a long week. Verlander.
You're good.
And can we do Verlander Clevinger? Is that even possible?
I got 3 of them. You get a 5-man Philly stack with Hicks, Martinez, and Iglesias. 5-man Twins stack. It looks like it goes with the Phillies pretty well.
Yeah. So Chris is asking, what are my GPP pitchers in order? I don't know what that means. I mean, like I haven't figured out what my ownership's going to be. I haven't ran any crunches or figured out if I'm like MMEing either slate so far.
I need
but
all of your pitchers in your order for both slates.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just answer really quick. So I like Snell. I think just ownership, talent. I think he's got some strikeout upside here, and I'm confused why people don't want to play him. And then Herman, probably my second guy on the main slate. And then there's a huge drop after that. So with guys like Cook and Sanchez and all those great options. On the early, so Verlander, I'm going to try to get Verlander in wherever I can. Then I like Velasquez. I like Marquez. I'm kind of colder on Clevinger than most people, I think. And then Lance Lynn is sort of a lineup-dependent guy for me for the Tigers. So if the Tigers are able to roll out like 5 or 6 lefties, and I don't even know if they have that many lefties, but if they were to do that, then I would not really be on Lynn. But if they've got 6 righties in there, then I'm starting to warm up to Lynn a little bit.
What do you think of this? Verlander and Marquez with Astros stack. McCann, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Reddick. 3-man twin stack. Morrison, Rosario, Kepler.
So is that the lineup right to... Wait, which one is that? Put your mouse over. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Yeah, that's like the best parts of both stacks.
Giants lineup is out.
So Marquez could be the key. Marquez could be the key to unlocking all the bats. We're both in agreement, right, that Verlander is the best play on the slate, or do you like Clevinger?
Let me look at it. But it should be Verlander. I just haven't looked at it like that. So DK doesn't have the 12 o'clock, but it has everything else, right?
I believe so. Oh, we don't have... Oh, wait, I'm looking at FanDuel ownership here.
Yeah, I have Verlander way ahead of Clevinger.
Me too. Okay, I was gonna say. So Verlander first. So we've got Verlander, Velasquez, Clevenger. Okay, that makes more sense. I was looking at FanDuel ownership and was getting pretty confused there. Marquez decently owned. I don't know. This is about as I expected. So, do you have any interest in Lynn or Fulmer?
No.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Lynn's guy will mix in.
Like enough line, like neutral to the field ish. Well, not really. Lynn is pretty low actually, so not really on Lynn, or not really on Fulmer rather.
Okay.
I think Lynn is a little bit more interesting to me because of where we have his ownership projected. I agree. So Fulmer, like he's got the stuff. He should be good, and he is for stretches. But he's just really struggles against lefties. Over 90 mile an hour average exit velocity, under 20% K rate. So he's gonna get 6 maybe lefties here for the Twins, depending on how they use the bottom of that lineup. But I don't really like Fulmer here. I think him and Rodon, I don't think I'll have much of any of. And Montas, I won't have Montas. Montas is just too expensive.
Yeah, he's got good results, but I don't think it's real just yet. A couple starts against Kansas City, didn't really get strikeouts, didn't do anything that was all that impressive besides go deep for me. But I want to see strikeouts when I'm playing DFS, and I don't really see him with him.
I think I'm going to like this early slate when all is said and done. I don't know why.
Well, what do you like about it?
I don't know. The hitting, I think. I think I'm going to be able to throw enough shit against the wall to hope it sticks from a pitching perspective. I think I can be pretty dialed in on the hitting.
Is there any pitcher you're going to leave out or have like almost no exposure to?
Yeah. I'll have essentially no Rodon or Montas.
I would agree with those.
They might pop up in like a line or two because of the slate size, but everybody else is going to be double digits.
So are you doing 150 here? Or do you not know yet?
For the early?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't really have any spot to do that.
That's true.
But I haven't looked at what's available, so let's do that now. So the best tournament in the morning that I'd be able to feasibly... Oh! There's a 50-cent mini-max in the morning?
No, that's tonight.
Oh, I hate when it does that. So if you...
I know.
if you change
so you got to
the
click on the
game
actual...
style after you pick the day, it dicks you over. Okay, so now I'll do 20 into the table setter, 20 into the solo shot. So I'll probably have 60.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Table setter, solo shot, and the quarter jukebox. A couple solos.
I think the table setter, I don't know, I like that tournament. I mean,
So do I.
It's just 20 max. You get a little bit of a taste of MME, and like there's a realistic chance you can win that. 10,000, or how many people are in that? 8,000 this morning.
Yeah.
So I'll probably play that, and then maybe a couple other tournaments.
Yeah, I need to plan that out. I didn't do any of my entries this morning yet, but
yeah,
plenty of time. What else?
Anything else glaring you see?
No, I hate these days where it's not easy to talk about everything.
What about a non-Indians or Astros stack if you had to choose one?
Non-Indians or Astros, Rockies or Twins, I guess, right?
I think yeah.
Non-Indians or Astros, so Rockies. I'm getting a lot of Blackman, Gonzalez, Arenado.
Yeah, I like the Twins for sure. I kind of like a little bit of a White Sox stack with Moncada, Sanchez, Palka, just those top five. I kind of like the White Sox stack, and I think it'll be pretty low owned. So it's appealing if they can knock out Clevenger, which I think they have a pretty decent chance to do.
Shark, while I don't normally like plugging stuff like this, it's kind of independent of what we're doing. The extensions that's on FanDuel and DraftKings are done by one of our competitors. So
Yeah.
you'll find it. But I mean, when push comes to shove, it's a good thing to have. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, I think
We're not rolling
I have
out
it too.
any Chrome extensions anytime soon, to my knowledge. So, Roto Grinders has a DraftKings and a FanDuel extension that overlays a bunch of additional information on it. It's really good stuff.
Lays out like exposures and all that, and
Yeah,
it's helpful if you're making a lot of lineups.
yeah,
So
it's
I agree. I have it. I have no problem saying where it's from.
no, it's not. We're not. That's not the same market, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's information on your lineup page as well that it adds. So you get a lot of additional stuff. It's helpful for visualization.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Should have photoshopped Osmo over it.
I agree. All right, one thing to plug quick. Tomorrow we've got a playline contest going on. It's the Osmo.com presents the $3,600 guaranteed The Sandlot tourney. $1,000 to first place. You got to pick the pitches, the number of pitches thrown, number of strikes thrown, and number of strikeouts for Corey Kluber, John Lester, and Jake Arrieta. Highly recommend checking that out. We'll probably have an article breaking down one of these guys. And by probably, and I mean I will probably do that by tomorrow. So check that out. If you're going to go to Playline, go to playline.com/r/Osmo. If you do that, you'll get a free $5 plus a first-time deposit bonus. So highly recommended. It's a good site to play on. Unique structure. Predicting the amount of pitches thrown and stuff is kind of fun. There's a big bonus structure if you get it right. So scope that stuff out because we're running another contest.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that Lester will have 0 strikeouts. He's my nemesis, even though I root for him. As you can see by my Cubs shirt, World Series champs 2016, but not a Lester fan.
I'm interested to see how the Twins feel about you wearing that Cubs shirt.
Oh, the Twins don't care. They don't know much about World Series in the 21st century.
No, they don't. No, they do not. The Minnesota Jakes might be mad. We might be turning the Cubs into the Chicago Jakes.
They are the Chicago Jakes. I will gladly have the Cubs be called the Chicago Jakes.
Well, that's what you get for saying that out loud. Now you'll never get it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, at least the audience will know
Yeah.
where my heart stands.
Right. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Jake and Chris will be back for the live stream tonight. We've got a day's postponed video with myself and Jake and Alex and Chris today. Supposed to happen yesterday, but I was out of power. So we'll have that today. Potentially the new video project today as well. So lots coming out.
Yeah.
Lots coming out. Do you have anything you need to plug? I guess no.
I don't. All my other sports are not in season. Well, my main other sport. So it's just thanks for reminding me of that. No hockey for a few more months. So
Sorry, buddy.
yeah, just MLB, just crushing that mini max, hopefully, and building up the bankroll for NHL.
Agreed. Building up the bankroll for NBA.
Yes.
Alrighty, that's all I've got, everybody. Best of luck tonight, and we'll see you guys again in the morning.